Hi, this is Bob Church. I've been asked some questions with regards to the school budget and student outcomes, so I thought I'd put this slide set together. Obviously, you can use your pause button on your browser as needed. The Burlington School Department started to begin the process for developing a budget. In that process, they're trying to obviously balance the operational cost with outcomes, without sacrificing quality. And it begs the question, how is quality being measured? It refers to a rubric that was utilized. What student achievement measures were included in this rubric application? Before I start to share some data, I think it's important to include a caveat to the data. And this was mentioned in during the 2000 performance-based budgeting process at the Burlington Public Schools. I think it's fitting today as well. As you know, last fall we had teacher surveys that basically lamented some of the concerns that teachers had meeting the needs of students. I encourage you to look at the number of years in the district and the schools that they represent. Obviously, these are a few slides of the 71 that have been provided. I formatted some from data from the state for each school. So essentially on each page that you received, you have the top columns represent Vermont, that's state averages. The second tier of columns represents each school. Notice the school number, PSO 65. So if you want to go back and look at the actual spreadsheet, although I included it in the binders, if anybody watching this video wanted to go to the site, having the numbers of the schools makes it a lot easier to find. Obviously, this is 2015 to 2017 represents all students. Again, with the NECAP, all students. I have the same school. This is for Champlain. Again, we look at the Vermont at the top two parts, and then Champlain. This represents free and reduced lunch, students on free and reduced lunch. So many would refer to this data as the achievement gap. So basically the gap between students, all students, and those with socioeconomic challenges. Again, from 2015 to 2017. Notice the change. Again, another school. This happens to be integrated arts. Again, state averages on the top, school averages on the bottom. This is for free and reduced lunch. And this represents a screenshot of the source of the information. Back to the budget slides. Slide 20 talks about 70% of expenditures. As you know, the last board did a tremendous job outlining the cost of the teacher contract. This data included the grid, which was basically the salary distribution and the experience level of teachers in the district. It'd be interesting to know how that has changed. Has the percentage of teachers changed? And back in FY16, 418 teachers were in this in our district out of 1,229 employees. So how has that percentage changed? And do we really understand the contributions of the other 811 folks? The presentation included teacher salary as it related to other districts in the region. And it had a final slide which listed the total compensation cost for teachers. At that time, teachers' salaries and health benefits represented 41.40% of the voter-approved budget. How has that percentage of budget allocated to teachers? How has it changed? And what is the percentage today of the voter-approved budget being allocated to teachers? There's a video of gaining access to the full teacher contract presentation on YouTube. Back in 2000, Mayor Covell created a legacy project, and it included the schools. You'll notice the measures of our progress. Moving forward, I would suggest some information be put into the city reports to allow us to monitor our success. I think many that would look back at that old 2000 legacy project, while it was commendable, it lacked some of the accountability processes to allow us to measure success moving forward. So obviously having student data with regards to how many students, how many low-income, IEP, 504, which are special ed, English language learners, that's important. It would be also important by school. So as we compare the outcomes by school, we can make some maybe adjustments. This obviously is important to be able to include some of our data so that each year when people read the annual report, we can see how we're doing. Also for the achievement gap, those with socioeconomic needs. The grid, this is an important piece. How many experienced teachers do we have? How has that changed? How does that vary by building? So having a grid by building would be also important. Again, teacher salaries and how they relate into the county. And again, total budget. Percent of voter approved budget. Again, in the city report annually. I'd be remiss not to close with a quote. And as noted in the legacy report, it's in our hands. Hope that helps.